as a person, right, I'm very anti-hype.
Mm-hmm.
Like for example, uh, when the first AI revolution came and everyone was doing AI ML. I think this was a few when I just got out of college. It's like you had to attach AI and ML to your to whatever work you're doing, right? So I was very skeptical of that. I actively, in fact, I actively stayed away from machine learning that time. It really helps to clear what they call writer's block. So a lot of times you want to start writing, but like you just don't know how to start, right? And you just end up procrastinating. But with this, what it does is it doesn't exactly write the content for you, but you can just talk to it like you're talking to another person. Like, I'm thinking of writing something on this. Can you just give me a draft? And give you that initial draft. And that draft may not be the best, but it gives you a starting point. And like it just, for a lot of times, it just cleared my writer's block. What has been disrupted in the past with computers was mundane and repetitive tasks, right? So generally the target was that anything which can be easily repeated, you can automate it. I think that still holds, but the definition of things that can be easily repeated now has changed.
It has evolved.
Yeah.
And that can be easily automated using large language models. Hi everyone. Welcome to yet another interesting, exciting episode. We have with us Soham Kamani. He's a software engineer at Google. We are both teammates, work pretty much on the same projects. And we've always had this itch to bring Soham onto our channel. He's the coolest kid on the floor, swagger of sorts. When he moves in, people watch him. So somehow he maintains that cool, calm demeanor that we are always like intrigued. This person is never in stress. He's always like walking calmly, and he works on some of the most bleeding edge work that we do here at Google. So wanted to understand about your journey, Soham, and welcome on our channel.
Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I hope you know what Not So Famous is.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of your videos in the past. So then when you asked me if I want to appear, like I was more than happy. So.
Awesome. So this is our attempt, like what you have done and what you're doing at Google. It's a dream for a lot of people out there. We want to bring some aspects of your journey which people can trace, and if not reach exactly there, maybe somewhere close. So that's the idea. We call this relatable, inspiring stories. So let's begin with yours.
Sure.
So to start with, just to break ice, I will be asking you some rapid fire rounds. Need not be rapid, but give us honest answers to understand how you are as a person.
Sure.
So first question, what phone do you use, Android or Apple?
Android. I've always used Android.
Is it because of the Google loyalty or something special that you love about Android?
Oh, I love how customizable it is. I mean, being a very technically oriented person, I don't like the restriction of not being able to customize your own phone. So of Android.
Makes sense. Yeah. A very related question, and that might get into controversy: Windows or Mac?
Yeah. So I used to be a Windows person, but now I'm a Mac person.
Okay.
Like I'm fully converted.
So was that because of the environment? You were .NET converted into Java or something, or just like it happened from Windows to Mac?
So again, it has to do with customizability, and also it has to do with the terminal. So I like Linux, but a lot of the Linux operating systems, they don't look very pretty, and they don't just work with everything. So Mac is like the best of both worlds. You have a beautiful OS, and also you have a Linux terminal in a Linux-based operating system where you can run all the programs you love on Linux.
I wonder like why a single company has such polarizing users. As a developer, you love Android, but
I'm really not a fan of the iPhone, but I love the Mac.
Yeah. Awesome. So that makes sense. Football or cricket?
Football.
Okay, and why so? Like, why do you love football? Do you play or watch?
I don't play football or cricket that much, but as a sport, I like football better.
Okay.
I mean, it's more fast-paced than cricket, and generally it requires more physicality. So
sure.
So
you like action and fast-changing things rather than something like which is slow-moving. Makes sense. You're a pet parent or no pet?
I used to be no pet, but I'm pro pet now.
Okay, and for pets, cat, dog, or something else?
Again, I used to be a dog person, but now I'm fully converted into a cat person.
And why did this happen? Like, what changed? We see very few people being a pet parent for a cat. You are one, so.
Yeah, mainly because I have an apartment and it's hard to have a dog over there. And they normally said that cats are less maintenance and it's better. It's better as a first-time pet parent to have a cat.
Okay.
But then after I got a cat, like you notice these little subtle behaviors which just make you appreciate them way more.
Like what?
And they're much more human. Like they have the different moods. They're grumpy, they're happy, they're playful, they're sleepy. But like dogs are just always happy.
Yeah.
They're always happy to see you. They always and some people like that better. So I appreciate that. Even I used to like that. And I love dogs as well. But just cats have that nuance which just make them more appealing to me.
Awesome. So how long you've been a pet parent now?
It's about a year. It just finished.
And what's the name of your cat?
Oh, she's called Coco.
Coco? Yeah. Interesting. Is she like brown?
Yeah, she's one of the stereotypical brown ginger cats. So
Awesome.
she looks like every other cat which you see on the road in Bangalore.
Awesome. Very interesting. Your idea of a perfect vacation, a road trip to the Western Ghats in monsoons or a trip to an exotic place like a Maldives or something?
I would say Western Ghats.
Okay.
So I normally prefer, I don't like very touristy places. I like somewhere where you can really get immersed in the place itself. So Western Ghats sounds way better that way. Awesome.
Thanks for that. And these kind of questions help our audience understand you, what you like. You like a fast-paced life, you're a developer, you have appreciation for finesse, that's where Mac comes in. You like to control your things, that's where your love for Android, and so on and so forth. So helps us map your personality so that the next discussion that we are going to have, people are able to relate more on what choices you make. What is the reasoning behind that? We'll end this round with one question. What is that one thing you're most passionate about in your life? It could be career, sports, personal, whatever.
Yeah, so it's been different things throughout my life, but right now I feel like I'm really passionate about writing and like creating useful content for people. It started like from a few years back, but I'm like really getting into it now, and that's my current passion.
Okay. So, yeah. And what content, if I may ask, like what do you write about?
Yeah, so it's mostly technical content and technical tutorials, and it leans more towards the basics.
Okay.
So I feel like someone who can explain the basic, like only if you know something in depth, can you explain the basics really well.
Absolutely.
So I try to explain the basics of something which I feel I know more in depth.
Got it. So like our favorite Elon says, stick to first principles. It's similar.
Yeah, I'm a believer in that as well.
Awesome. So am I. Very good. Tell us about your mediums where you publish this so that our audience can follow you there and learn from your wisdom on those topics.
Yeah, cool. So I mean, I've been doing this for I've been doing this for 6 years. So I have published a lot of content until then. So the first place where I started and which is like my most prominent is my blog, which is on my website.
Okay.
So
what's the name of the website? We'll leave the in the description, but
yeah, but it's my sohamkamani.com.
Okay.
It's just my name.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it started out with me just like writing stuff for myself. I really was not expecting anyone to see it.
Okay.
But then somehow it started getting views. I don't know from where. I guess Google search or something. And I was like, oh wow, other people also find this useful. And yeah, as I started writing more, I got more and more visits on my website, and then after a point, I started getting comments, and those are the comments is what really gets you going. You know, when someone says, "Oh, this post is really good. It really helped me."
Nice.
Yeah, like it feels like nothing else.
So that joy of being useful to somebody drives you to do all of this. What else is the motivation behind this? Like, why suddenly? And you started it at a fairly young age, like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
At that time, people are thinking about the next coolest bike to buy or the next career switch, but you started writing and contributing.
Yeah.
What was the drive?
Yes. So initially, I was just doing it for fun. because I saw other people's blogs. I'm like, oh, cool. It would be nice to just have my my stuff out there as well. So I just wrote on fairly basic and like very small topics. Like for example, one of my first posts was how to communicate between a JavaScript process and a Python process.
Okay.
Which was like not a lot of people need to do that, but it was fairly niche and they want other posts on it. So that started gaining traction because I think it was the only post which told you how to do that. And then I'm like, oh, okay, like this was something like very like specific, and still a lot of other people had a use for it.
Okay.
So then after I realized that no matter how small or how specific your problem is, there's like so many other people in this world and so many other developers in my case that it'll be useful to someone or the other.
Absolutely.
And even if one or two people read my post, that's like one or two people more who I would have helped had I not written it. So after that, I kind of got addicted to it for a while. Like I just anything new that I learned at work,
you would write.
I just wrote about it.
Nice.
And I think till date that is like one of the best professional decisions I've taken in my career.
Now, people always say that it's the best thing you can do because this is a very non-linear way to spread the word. People can learn. And second thing is sticking to basics. Again, people think that as something is very complicated, there's a lot of value, but the benefits lie in the simple things. And if people learn those fundamentals well, they go a long way. So
yeah,
kudos. Totally agree. So Soham, you've been at Google for how long
now? I think it would be about little over 2 years.
Awesome. So 2 years. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What do you do at Google for our audience to know? I absolutely know about this, but
sure. So I work as a software engineer in Google Cloud's support platforms, and that involves doing many things, but mostly it's on server-side development, and more recently it's trying to integrate like the new technologies like large language models into our existing capabilities.
Awesome. Large language models, that's talk of the town. Like everybody wants to understand how these things are able to redefine the way people work. I come across a lot of people on LinkedIn who are on the fence, very watchful. Some people are anti large language models. They believe this is just a hoax and these will not do anything. But what I've seen is people getting experience with this, they become converts and they are big believers. What has been your experience? What do you think large language models bring as a value in your realm?
Yeah. So as a person, right, I'm very anti-hype. Like for example, when the first AI revolution came and everyone was doing AI ML, I think this was when I just got out of college. It's like you had to attach AI and ML to your to whatever work you're doing, right? So I was very skeptical of that. I actively stayed away from machine learning that time. Okay. I tried a couple of times, but it wasn't for me. Then after that, blockchain and crypto came. That time also, I studied about it. It was interesting, but like I didn't find any practical uses for it. So even then, I'm like, this is not very useful. And like everyone was hyping it up and making money and all, but I generally was not too much into it. So again, when the AI train came again with large language models, I was in a similar situation. I'm like, it's just like before. But then what was different this time is that I actually tried playing around with it when ChaiTPT released. I tried playing around with it, and it actually helped me like do certain things. Like it actually saved my time.
Like what did you try that impressed you with that? Like tell us some of your early experiences with the tech that converted you on the others.
Yeah. So one thing was so I have a mailing list for my blog. So when I put out new posts, I normally write a mailing list post for that.
Sure.
And that's normally like, it's just like a generic thing saying, this is what I wrote about. If you want to check it out, go here. And it used to take a lot of my time and I used to avoid it. So I just tried using ChatGPT for that. like I gave it a summary of what I wrote, and I'm like, can you write something that I can put on my mailing list? And actually gave something which was pretty useful.
Awesome.
And of course, I couldn't copy paste that exact thing because there were some issues here and there. But I just edited it a little bit, and then it worked. I mean, I would have spent like 15-20 minutes on that.
Yeah.
But that initial draft got me 80% of the way through. So that actually added value to my life.
Absolutely. Like imagine people who write 100 emails a day.
Yeah.
Who are responding to customer emails, saving 80% of time on composing everything.
And not just that, like even as a developer, like so many times I wanted to figure out how to do something with something, and you have to go through some obscure documentation, and you have to look through examples on Stack Overflow and then adapt that for your use case.
Yeah.
But again, in this case, ChatGPT and other, large language models really saved my time there.
Yeah.
And they continue to do so till today.
Awesome.
So now I still think like it's a bit overhyped, like as all new things are. But this time it's actually adding value to my life in a way that I can see very visibly.
Awesome.
Like today.
Awesome. So, and how long you've been flirting with large language models, if I may ask?
I think I was fairly late.
Okay.
I think only after I started hearing about, I started seeing examples of how people are using ChatGPT. I'm like, oh, okay, this can't actually be real. So I tried it myself, and it actually worked. So yeah, after that I was hooked.
Yeah. So based on your experience, since you work very, very hands-on on this technology, how do you see some of the areas getting disrupted because of this? As an engineer, as a consumer of what you're building, give us a couple of examples on your take. How do you see this as disrupting some of the things?
Yeah, so I have a positive view on it. I think like a lot of prominent people.
So positive, if I may interrupt, positive on a scale from negative, positive, overwhelmingly positive, like.
Yeah, I would not say overwhelmingly positive as of yet.
Okay.
I mean, who knows what the future holds? But right now it's positive, and I'm looking at it from like a selfish point of view, like what it has done for me and what it can do for me going forward. And yeah, I just think of it as a time saver. It's like it's similar to when we got computers or the calculator, right? Like there are a lot of manual things you had to do before, but now you can do it in a few seconds. So there's like another step where there was a lot of manual things which we were doing.
Yeah. So give us the top 3 manual things where it acts like a multiplier, where you just provide your thought and it does the rest, and what magnitude of savings. And then help us realize once the scales, like every developer starts using this for the purpose that you use it, that'll help us see the disruption that's coming.
Cool.
Very, very basic. 3 things, let's say.
Yeah. So I think the top thing would be boilerplate code. Like it's like so many times when you're switching between programming languages, you want to do like a very basic thing, like iterate through a list or create a map or one of those basic things which you can look up and do it. But like unless you work with the language daily, you just forget how to do it. But you know that you can find out. But it takes you some time to do that.
Some time, let us say.
Takes you like a couple of minutes.
Okay.
Not that long, but still, like
it ranges between few minutes to maybe like max half an hour.
I think the main point is it takes a couple of minutes, but you do it a lot.
Okay.
So
sure.
When you're writing some new code in a new programming language or one that you haven't used in a while, there are many basic things that you have to do and you have to chain them together, and each of them takes a few minutes to look up. So you're reducing that few minutes to like 10 or 20 seconds multiple times over.
Awesome.
Right. So
awesome.
The overall time savings is huge.
Got it.
So that's number 1.
That's number 1. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah. Number 2, as someone who writes content, it really helps to clear what they call writer's block. So a lot of times you want to start writing, but like you just don't know how to start.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you just end up procrastinating.
Yeah.
But with this, what it does is it doesn't exactly write the content for you, but you can just talk to it like you're talking to another person. Like, I'm thinking of writing something on this. Can you just give me a draft? And give you that initial draft. And that draft may not be the best, but it gives you a starting point. And like, it just, for a lot of times, it just cleared my writer's block. And there's no way to quantify the time savings on that, because
but it helps you to write more. I'll take an example. I was about to deliver a webinar, and they asked me to write an intro about myself, and that's the most difficult thing, no? If you have to write about yourself. I asked a large language model, gave it 5 bullet points, and I started liking myself after reading the intro that it came up with. So easy. Like, I would just copy paste it and send it. It has been perfect. So I understand like writer's block perfectly. And with this, maybe more people start writing and contributing because it has gotten so easy. So you just give a very brief articulation in just few random bullet points, and it synthesizes. So thing number 2, which can do a lot of good, again bring that non-linear change and propagating your learnings.
And it will make people less afraid to express themselves, right?
Awesome. Yeah, sure. What else do you think is going in your world, if you look at things from your point of view?
Another thing which, so this is not time saving, but it was just fun. I think those are the many examples you've seen of writing a serious poem about some vague and mundane topic. I liked using that a lot, like for my entertainment. And okay, that doesn't really save time, but
sure,
but still provides value for me in that
hobby.
respect.
Awesome. Let's talk very quickly about once you use these things to generate something, maybe an end product that uses large language models and touches the customers. Give us any sense on what can possibly be disrupted using large language models, because you've been a convert, you work on this, and you hope the products that you're creating will save equivalent, if not more, time for our customers. Give us a sense on what can possibly happen in that area.
So, I mean, what has been disrupted in the past with computers was mundane and repetitive tasks, right? So, generally, the target was that anything which can be easily repeated, you can automate it. I think that still holds, but the definition of things that can be easily repeated now has changed.
It has evolved. And that can be easily automated using large language models. Any example, like for our customers to understand? Like, we work in support realm. What can possibly happen there using large language models?
I mean, I think with support, like throughout whatever company you look at, right? I think people were already trying it. Like, I was using the Swiggy. Whenever I use Swiggy, and I have a complaint, I raise a support ticket, and the replies seem kind of automated, but like they switch to a human soon, and like it's pretty seamless. So I don't know when they switch to a human and when. So they were already doing that like before large language models came into the picture. So this will just enhance that point between where you use automated messages and when you switch to
more human-like support provided with less human intervention is
what.
Awesome.
So instead of keeping a lot of people on standby, maybe they can just have one to monitor in case there are any issues, and like the threshold for what can be automated is much higher.
For example, like my broadband not working happens with thousands of people on a everyday basis, and the solutions are not unique. So large language model can possibly look at some troubleshooting steps and emulate humans doing those repeatable tasks with perfect ease.
And again, before, these were not repeatable because we didn't have a good model of understanding natural language, not nearly as good as today. So now that we have that, that task which you're talking about can now be classified as mundane and repeatable.
Awesome. That's very interesting, and thanks for enlightening us on this subject, Soham. We would like to understand now more, going in your career journey in a reverse chronological order. I would love to know more about how Google happened. Was this always an aspiration, or it just came by and you were prepared for it? And your experience working as a Google software engineer. And we'll also try to understand what a budding software engineer needs or possibly needs to learn to become a software engineer here. We'll cover that in our next episode. So stay tuned, and we'll cover his journey to Google in the next one. Thank you for this one.